think in a lot of ways, because guys get so serious about the competitions, it puts people off. Because I think we're looking at getting guys who are when our age, you know, 20s, 30s, back into the hobby, and we want to encourage them to get back into it. But these guys are maybe professionals who are just sort of, now they're married, they have kids, and they're starting to look at, okay, I built this when I was a kid, I built models and I did this sort of stuff. So we want to get them encouraged back into it. But when you're getting into competition modeling, a lot of them will not be interested in doing competition modeling. They'll find it very intimidating, and then they get put off because you know, there's always a controversy around judging, and people say, oh, my model should have won, and this and that, and it puts guys off. So for me personally, I'm not a great fan of competition modeling, but I also equally, I understand that it is very important, because guys will travel from miles around to come to a competition if it's a good competition. Like Euromilitaire is a very good example of that, where people used to come from all over Europe to go to England just to have the prestige of winning a gold or a best of show at Euromilitaire, and that was something very sort of important for a lot of guys. So I understand the importance of both sides of that concept of competition modeling, but for me personally, I think that the competition side of modeling should focus more on encouraging the youth and getting them. Yes, that's equally important, is that, you know, for a lot of guys, the prestige that comes with winning a trophy and winning a prize, best of show, and that, it's very inspiring. And so these guys, they take that and they really take it seriously on that side of modeling. For me personally, I've never been into competition modeling, but that's because I'm not that good of a modeler. I'm a very average modeler, so for me it's just, you know, it's more about what's important. I'm like, as you guys know, I mean, I'm very, very into the social side of things. I like going out after, and for me, the modeling, when the show finishes, work's done. So we go and we meet all the friends, we go out and we have dinner, we go out and we do have a couple of beers or whatever. That for me is the more important side, but then it's easy for me to say that because I'm involved on the industry side. So for guys who are involved in the hobby side, it's important, you know, there's competitions and the show and all that, and finding stuff under the tables and buying products and stuff like that. So, you know, there's two ways to look at it, and it's easy for me to turn around and say, well, you know, it's not important for me, the competition side, but that's because I'm involved in the industry.
Yeah, there are collectors and there are builders.
And so you've got to, and I mean, the key to having a good model show is being able to accommodate to everybody's interests. And when you say, you know, you have a good competition, then that draws a lot of modelers, and then you have good traders, that draws more modelers, and then, you know, you have a good combination of everything in one show. But I think it's important that everybody needs to look at how we can, like you guys are asking the question, how you can draw the younger modelers for the future. And that's a good thing when you have modelers who are looking to the future and thinking, how are we going to perpetuate this hobby, rather than satisfy ourselves for the time being and have a great show and great competition and all this, but thinking ahead 10, 15 years down the line, who is the next generation of modeler going to be, and where are we going to find these modelers? So that's where it's key for guys in the shows like yourselves, and that it's key to find ways to draw these younger modelers in, so we're creating the next generation, because it's very important. And I think that's one of the toughest questions, because where do you find these guys? Where do you find the young modelers? And magazines, from my point of view, magazines are also have a role to play on that, because you want to create a magazine that's appealing to a youngster. Now you need to have something that it's not all information and history and all that, because they get overwhelmed with that. They want to see pictures of beautiful models, and that has appealed to a child. And if it's a modern magazine and it's got a good layout and a good design, then they're more likely to open it up and look at it. But if it's the old style magazine with all kinds of information that caters to, you know, these old modelers who just want to read about, you know, Spitfires and the Burmese conflict and that, it's not interesting for children. So you need to, as a magazine, you need to find a combination.